Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Add Work, Not Worries podcast, the number one podcast in the U.S., and you have the pleasure of joining us this morning. We are the number one podcast in the U.S. discussing construction, business, real estate investing, featuring a guy in a black hat with a red logo and blue glasses today. With those credentials, number one podcast in the U.S., and we're here for you. If you've gotten anything from the podcast, we really appreciate it. We appreciate you joining us a few times a week. If you would be so kind, it would be very helpful. If you were willing to go online, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc., whatever the platform is that you choose to use, give us a rating, a 5-star rating with a little bit of a review. Podcast great, he good, it good, whatever it may be. However you can help us in that regard, helps us jump the ranks. It's greatly helpful. I know that 5-star reviews aren't the only thing you can give. You can give 1, 2, 3, 4. All I ask is if it is 1, 2, 3, 4, please take an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, write that review on that paper. From there, make a paper airplane, and not one of the fat paper airplanes where you like fold it fat side over, and then when you fold the wings it kind of overlaps. Like, make the streamline one where you fold it lengthwise, and you do the one fold and then another fold, so it's kind of linear and long like the Concorde airplane. Throw it into the wind, and wherever it lands, just leave it there. It's basically the same thing as posting it on the internet. That'd be for a 4, 3, 2, 1 star review. If it's a 5-star review, please go on the internet and post your paper airplane there. That'd be really helpful. Today, Wednesday, which is Wisdom Wednesday. Sorry, it's corny. That's my format. So I wanted to do something that I've never seen another podcast host do, and it's discuss Meditations by Marcus Aurelius and a few quotes in this book for Wisdom Wednesday. We will be innovators by talking about Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, and I hope you enjoy. So let me start off by, just kidding. I do have meditations on my desk, but I'm not going down that path. Many do, I get it. My Wisdom Wednesday, maybe not not any better, but I was on a run the other day, listening to an audiobook, and the audiobook I was listening to was Unleash the Power Within or Awaken the Power Within. It was a Tony Robbins audiobook. And something he said struck me that I think is like so on point for a Wisdom Wednesday and wisdom that we can use, especially in our business, especially in the trades. It's so key in the trades. This just hit me. And it's this idea of bad, good, great, and then transcending great to excellent. And what that means is we have the option to choose the quality of work, the quality of communication, just our overall quality and demeanor that we're going to put out into the world. And in having that power, we also have the power to control the rewards we're going to get in return. Now, you might ask, what rewards do you get from these different categories of work? And if I was to say, hey, Johnny, if you do bad work, what kind of reward do you think you're going to get? Johnny might say, well, if I do bad work, I'm probably going to get a not great reward. And my response to him would be, no, actually, that's wrong. If you do bad work, likely what you're going to get is a negative reward. Not just a not great reward, you're going to get zero reward. And not only you're going to get zero reward, but you're probably going to get a reward, in air quotes, that you're going to have to come out of pocket and pay for, either with money or reputation or a number of other things. I mean, think about it. When you put bad work out into the world, it's going to upset clients. So, and we don't know, is that bad work like just aesthetically bad, where a client at the end of the day is going to look at it and not want to pay you because the floor you laid down looks like crap? or the joints don't connect, or it's cupping because you didn't leave adequate space against the wall? Or is it something from an infrastructure perspective where you put a copper pipe in the wall and because you were in a hurry, you didn't solder the joint properly and there's a pinhole leak that's going to be, it's going to like rear its little head in 2 months. But by that time, there's going to be mold inside the wall. You're going to have to cut open the sheetrock and then get a remediation company out. And there's probably going to be a claim against your insurance because it's going to be more than you can afford. Like that bad work can really cost you. Reputationally, that client's going to tell their friends. And financially, you're going to have to come out of pocket, or you're going to have a tarnished reputation with your insurance agency that's going to raise your rates because of the bad work you did. So the bad work actually has a negative consequence, not just a shitty reward. So then you ask, well, okay, so let's say we don't do bad work. We do good work. Okay, that's the next step. And good work is what, let's say there's the 80-20 rule. And 80% of the people will fall in this good work category. They're going to do good work. So I say to Johnny, well, okay, good work. If that's your goal, what do you think the reward's going to be for good work? And he's going to say, well, it's going to be a good reward. Sure, it's a good reward. But what is a good reward in relation to the overall market and my competitors? Well, what that probably means is you do good work. Okay, you got a star. You got a gold star. You're doing good work. That probably means you're going to have clients, be busy, get paid a fair amount, and you can continue to do that. But if you have aspirations to grow your company, grow your business, jump these different classes within the construction industry that I've talked about before, where you might go from, doing this to the next step up, to the next step up, to the next step up, to the point where you're doing like working in the apex of your field in whatever it might be. Good work is not typically going to get you there because there's a lot of people that could do good work. So good work is going to get you a solid paycheck, a solid reputation. You'll be able to stay around, stay in the game, and hopefully mitigate any losses and liabilities that you would have if you did bad work. So aspiring to do good work is great. But if we take the next step, we say, well, what about great work? Well, hey, Johnny, what do you think the rewards are for doing great work? And the answer is, well, when you do great work, you then get outsized rewards. So when you turn up a notch from the good to the great, now if we're talking that 80-20, you're in the 20. And as we know, supply and demand, if we know any of the laws of business, when you can put yourself in this niche category where you're the small percentage that are leading the category, well then you could demand higher prices. You have preferred clientele. You probably have relationships with vendors and other things that they've recognized that you're a leader in your field, and your networking abilities and your networking opportunities increase because you're doing great work. So when you do great work, the rewards get outsized, and not only going from the good category to the great category, gives you great rewards, but it also propels you to some of the top tiers of your industry where, if I give an example, there's a lot of good builders, and those good builders are busy building the, there's tract homes, there's these infill homes in neighborhoods. They're doing like the mid-range, making a living, building nice homes. But then you shift the category to like the great builders, and the great builders are the ones building the custom projects where they're getting cost plus, 15-20% kind of premium cost tiers. They're working with clients that care about like the quality of materials, the aesthetic, higher end materials, and in higher end materials, it's a higher end product that at the end you get higher end, photography and press and images for the website and socials that you could then use to propel to the next level. Like, the great companies get those outsized rewards, make more profit, and inevitably have much more longevity than the larger pool of the good companies. And what I want to bring to everyone's attention is the difference between the bad and the bad work, bad companies, etc., the good and the great are really like very minor tweaks and choices that you can choose to make that would greatly separate you from the pack. Let's use this plumbing example. The bad company who's in a rush and saves 15-20 minutes poorly soldering a joint because they're in a hurry to get to the next thing, the only difference from them to the good company is the good company owner or operator decided that I'm going to make sure to take an extra 15 to 30 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and clean that pipe and scarify that pipe before I then clean it, dry it, put my fitting on, and solder it. And then after I solder it, I'm going to make sure I have a clean solder with no penetrations, and then I'm going to test it. So overall, all the good company did was take an extra 30 minutes to ensure that they brought themselves from this bad, high liability category to the category of good and good work. Now, what does the great company do? In unison or in addition, maybe jumping from the bad to the good, and then from the good to the great, maybe the great company goes above and beyond, perfectly straps that copper to the wall with the same exact reveal all the way up the stud. And it's just very aesthetically pleasing, even though it's infrastructure that's going to be hidden behind the wall because they really care. And they take photos, and then they take those photos, and at the end of the day, they send those photos to the client and give a little 1-paragraph explanation of what happened today just to document for the client. And then they also have those photos stored somewhere, so if there's ever an issue, they can refer back to exactly where that pipe was in relation to the wall. Or if the client wants to put a niche or put something in the wall later, they know they're not going to hit it with a nail because the great company took the time to, document that and send it to the client. And little things like that really separate you from the pack. And again, what does that take? An extra 15, 20 minutes to snap a photo and write an email? But the difference is, like, the bad company, you're getting sued because you have a leak, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 months down the road. The good company, great. You're getting paid, you're moving on. You're not moving up the ranks, but you're doing good work. You're in the game. The great company is growing. The great company is adding employees. The great company is picking up more profit margin. The great company is getting customer referrals. Sure, the good companies can get customer referrals, but they're not so stand out that the customer is going to go out of their way to talk to their friends about you. But the great company who took the photos and sent the email, people are actually going to sit down at dinner with their friends and say, oh my God, you want to know what this person did? And it was shocking. I had them do work and they did X, Y, Z. And especially, you're working for these higher tier professional clientele, little things like that mean a lot to them because that's on a day-to-day basis, like that's the realm they're dealing in. So the bad to the good to the great, small differentiators, but it's those little tiny things that can really set you apart and take you out of these tiers. And nobody, unless you're hack and unless you choose to be, should be in the bad category. It's not a thing. You should not be there. It's little tiny things. It's, controlling yourself and taking the little extra time to at least get to the good category that, everyone should not only aspire to, but just should be their mandate. Now, there is a fourth category, and I would call this category the category that the companies that you see maybe on a day-to-day basis driving, the companies you interact with, the companies that you just know of and are in your periphery because you know them, those are the excellent companies. And the excellent companies are the ones who really reap all of the outsized rewards, the companies that'll be around forever, and not just be around forever, but they're going to be around forever, and they're going to be at the tip of the spear of their industry. They're going to be the innovators. They're going to be the industry leaders. You can go from the great category to the excellent category, and that is the 1% of subtrades, builders, investors, etc., that are in the excellent category. And what the excellent category is just an uncompromised effort and quality at every single step of the way that is procured and thought through, and your processes are tight, and you've spent the time to really care about everything from the quality of work, the communication, the back end, like what your stationery looks like, what your proposals look like, the time frames that you communicate to owners in, the time frames you turn out a proposal in, keeping to your timelines when you say you're going to be on a specific timeline for the project. Everything is tight. When you're in the excellent category, you have zero room for error. You have your processes in place. You have perfect dialed in communication, and you've separated yourself from the pack. And the excellent category, anyone can be in it. It takes effort. It takes energy. But if you're able to go from the great category to the excellent category and be in the 1%, the rewards are so overwhelmingly better and different than the great category, transcending to the excellent category, that it's really what you should aspire to be in. And again, from the great category to the excellent category, the only difference again is just a little extra caring, a little extra time, a little extra energy, and adhering to your own processes. And I would say the number one thing that companies in the excellent category have are they're just consistent with everything they do. They don't jump between I'm great here, I'm good here, I'm great in this area, I'm a little bad in this area, I'm good here, I'm great. It's I'm great in every category. Because if you're a company that's great in the field and your work is great, but your communication is good, you'll never make excellent. The excellent companies check all the boxes of great for every category. When a client asks me to give them a proposal, how does my proposal look and do I get it to them on time? Check, great. When I'm in the field and I give the client a schedule, do I adhere to the schedule? And if I don't adhere to the schedule, I communicate with the client as to why. Check, great. When I'm installing any kind of work or working with the subtrades or doing physical work myself or with my company's employees, is it of perfect quality and we take the extra time and care? Check, great. When I'm dealing with the client on the back end and I have punch list items or I have warranty items and I need to get to the client and communicate to the client and get these things done for them, am I there on time and do I do what I say I'm going to do? Check, great. In my sales process, prospecting new clients, are my sales materials dialed in? Am I communicating a proper company message? And am I being consistent in my communication? Check, great. Great. You've moved to excellent. So again, it's bad, negative rewards. It's good, mediocre, you're good rewards. You're going to be fine. Great, you're going to get those outsized rewards in the great category, whether that's more clients, more profit, growing your company. But when you could check multiple boxes in the great category within your own organization and transcend to the excellent level, when you hit excellence, you're at the apex of your field and your rewards are going to be so outsized in compared to all the other three categories that it'll be beyond your wildest dreams. So the goal should be shoot for the excellent category. And that is Wednesday's wisdom.